December 1900, three lighthouse keepers vanished. Not one, not two, three. They disappeared from a lonely island in the North Atlantic. No bodies were ever found. No witnesses existed. No distress signal was sent. No explanation was left behind. They simply vanished. And more than a century later, nobody knows what happened. This is the mystery of the Flannan Isles lighthouse, one of history's strangest disappearances. The Flannan Isles lie off the coast of Scotland. They are remote, rocky, and surrounded by violent seas. Even today, the islands feel isolated, almost abandoned. In 1900, a new lighthouse had recently been built there. Its purpose was simple: guide ships safely through dangerous waters. Three men were assigned to maintain it: James Ducat, Thomas Marshall, and Donald MacArthur. They were experienced lighthouse keepers, used to isolation, used to storms, used to difficult conditions. Nothing suggested tragedy. Then something unusual happened. On December 15th, a passing ship noticed something strange. The lighthouse was dark. No light appeared. At first, nobody panicked. Bad weather sometimes caused delays. But the days passed. Still no signal. Still no communication. Then came December 26th. A relief vessel finally reached the island. The ship's captain expected a routine crew change. Instead, he found a mystery. As the vessel approached, something felt wrong. No one waited at the landing. No one waved. No one prepared the ropes. This was highly unusual. Lighthouse keepers always greeted supply ships. Always. But the island remained silent. A relief keeper named Joseph Moore went ashore. He climbed the steep path. The air felt strange. The island was completely quiet. No voices, no movement, no signs of life. Then he reached the lighthouse. The door was closed. He entered. Inside, everything seemed normal. Almost. The beds were unmade. The kitchen was tidy. Half-eaten food did not sit on the table. There were no signs of violence. No blood. No struggle. No damage. Yet something was wrong. Very wrong. One chair had been overturned, and the three keepers were gone. Their oilskin coats were missing, except for one. One coat remained hanging inside. This detail became extremely important, because lighthouse rules were strict. No keeper would go outside during a storm without his coat, especially on the Flannan Isles. Yet one apparently had. Why? Investigators searched the island. No trace of the men appeared. Then they examined the western landing. The scene was strange. Very strange. A storage box had been smashed. Iron railings were twisted. A supply crate had been displaced. Rocks weighing more than a ton had shifted. The sea had clearly been violent. Extremely violent. Perhaps a massive wave had struck. Perhaps several waves. The official theory soon emerged. The men had gone outside during bad weather. Maybe one man was swept away. The others rushed to help. Then all three were taken by the sea. Simple, tragic, plausible. But there were problems. Several problems. First, the weather records. Reports suggested severe storms occurred after the disappearances, not before. Some records indicated conditions had been calm. If true, why were the men outside? Second, why would all three leave the lighthouse? Lighthouse protocol required one man to remain inside. Always, the station should never be left unattended. Yet apparently, nobody remained. Third, the missing coat. One keeper had left without it. Experienced lighthouse men did not do that, especially during dangerous weather. The details made little sense. Then another mystery emerged. The lighthouse logbook. Some reports claimed strange entries existed. One keeper allegedly wrote of severe winds, even though no storms were reported elsewhere. Another supposedly wrote that one man was crying, another that all three had been praying. Praying. This detail fascinated researchers. These were experienced seamen, men accustomed to storms. Why would they be terrified? Why would they pray? There was only one problem. No one can verify those entries. Many historians believe they never existed. They may have been added later, part of the legend. Yet the story persists, because it is unsettling. Then the theories exploded. Some suggested rogue waves, massive walls of water, capable of appearing suddenly, capable of sweeping away anything in their path. Modern science confirms they exist. This theory remains popular. Others suggested a freak accident. Perhaps one keeper was swept away. The others panicked and followed. Again, possible. Then came stranger ideas. Kidnapping, pirates, foreign spies, sea monsters, even supernatural forces. The Flannan Isles already possessed an eerie reputation. Ancient legends described the islands as sacred or cursed. Some local fishermen avoided them. Some refused to stay overnight. Stories of spirits and strange presences existed long before the lighthouse was built. The disappearance only strengthened these legends. Then another theory emerged. Psychological breakdown. Isolation can affect the human mind. The island was remote, lonely, harsh. Perhaps something happened between the men. Perhaps an argument. Perhaps violence. But no evidence supports this. No blood, no signs of struggle, no bodies, nothing. And that absence of evidence is precisely why the mystery survives. Because every explanation leaves questions. A giant wave explains the damaged landing, but not why all three men were outside. The logbook explains fear, but its authenticity is uncertain. Supernatural theories explain nothing, yet somehow they remain attractive. Because disappearances without bodies are difficult to accept. The human mind demands closure. The Flannan Isles offer none. No graves, no wreckage, no final message, no witnesses, only an empty lighthouse, 3 missing men, and an island surrounded by cold black water. Over a century has passed. The lighthouse became automated. The keepers never returned. Their bodies were never found. Their families never received answers. And the mystery entered history. It inspired poems, songs, documentaries, and countless theories. Because something about the story feels impossible. 3 experienced men on a tiny island, inside a lighthouse designed for safety, and then nothing. As if they simply stepped out of existence. Perhaps the sea claimed them. Perhaps a rogue wave swept them away. Perhaps the answer is entirely ordinary. Or perhaps something happened on that lonely island that December. Something no one witnessed. Something the ocean kept for itself. Because the greatest mystery of the Flannan Isles is not how the men disappeared. It is how 3 people could vanish so completely that more than 100 years later, we still cannot say with certainty what happened. An empty lighthouse, an overturned chair, 1 forgotten coat, and 3 men who walked into history and were never seen again.